Mindset, a daily dose of practical wit and wisdom with a professional educator and trainer, Amazon best-selling author, United States Marine, television and radio host, Paul G. Markel. Each episode will focus on positive and productive ways to strengthen your mindset and help you improve your relationships, career goals, and overall well-being. Please welcome your host, Paul G. Markel.
Hello and welcome back. It's time for your daily morning mindset episode. And I am still your host, Paul Markel. Now, my wife is going to hear this or read it, or she's going to read the show notes because she never actually listens to them. And she is going to disagree with what I am about to say. But that's just too bad because I'm not a yes man and I don't change things just to make my wife happy. No. Don't get me wrong, I'm about making my wife happy, but when she comes into my office, to my personal work area, invariably, almost without fail, she will say something along the lines of, "How can you work in this place? Look at all this junk on your desk. Look at all this clutter. How can you work like this?" And I say to her, I can work like it very easily because I know where everything is and I know what's on my desk and I don't care. And this is my work area. This is a work area that's not open for public display. I don't bring visitors in here to look at my workspace or my desk. This is for me. All right. It's not for other people. Now, you may have heard the term, a cluttered desk is a sign of a sharp mind, or maybe a productive mind, or an intelligent person, or however that has been phrased. But essentially, a cluttered desk is a sign of an intelligent mind, or a sharp mind, or a productive person, or what have you. And you may have heard that and thought, well, that's bullcrap, and that's something that sloppy people just made up for cover, to cover themselves. But I've been around enough, and I have been in other people's workspaces. I have been in other people's offices and at other people's desks. And I've been in the offices and at the desks of people who I have a great deal of respect for because they are very successful in their profession, in their job, and they do a very good job at it. They're very productive people. These are people who work for very productive companies. And yet, despite the fact that they work for companies that generate millions of dollars in revenue every year, their desks are cluttered. I was recently on a road trip and I got to enter the offices of several people, many people who I respect, and I respect their companies and their companies that are doing really good jobs. But the person who I was talking to, they had clutter everywhere on their desk. They had open letters and packages and business cards and you name it. Now, it wasn't garbage. It wasn't a Mad Magazine spoof with banana peels and empty beer bottles and half-eaten pizza crusts. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about clutter from doing your job. Right now, I'm looking at my workspace area and I have Post-it notes. And I have receipts, and I have a stack of business cards, and I have thumb drives, and I see a battery, and some books and notebooks and pens, and they're all just scattered all over my desk. There's a card from my daughter, which is nice, and I'm going to leave it there and look at it. But if someone were to walk in here to my workspace, they might think, geez, this person is a slob. Things aren't organized into neat little piles. No, they're not. Do you know why? Because my focus is not on tidiness. My focus is on productivity. My focus is on production, on creativity, on coming up with ideas constantly so I can get onto this podcast and talk to you about it, as well as the other endeavors, the books and the shows and all the other stuff that I do. And I really do believe that there is validity in the cluttered desk is a sign of a sharp mind. I've seen it enough. It's not just me, wife, who is reading this. It is not just me that has a cluttered desk. And I said, I was actually with a good friend of mine and in his office. And I said, if my wife were to come in here, she would lose her mind. She would say, how can you get anything done with all this clutter on your desk? You need to clean it up. And I would say to her, no, I need to be productive. I don't need to be tidy. I need to be creative. That's what I need to do. I need to focus on my job. And right now, my job is not cleaning up my desk. Now, that's not to say that every once in a while I won't go through and, through all my stuff and get rid of the stuff I don't need anymore, throw away the old receipts and the junk and the envelopes and what have you. That's not to say that I won't do that, but I don't do it on a regular basis because on a regular basis, I'm focused on my mission. And my mission, is to be productive and creative. And that's what I do. So maybe you have a cluttered desk and maybe people have said to you, clean this mess up. It's disgusting. I don't know. I know there are probably people that will strongly agree with me, and there are probably people that will listen to this and they will strongly disagree with me. And that's okay. That's part of being an American. You can strongly disagree with me if you want. Doesn't necessarily mean you're right, but it means you have the right to disagree with me. How does that sound? And for all of those folks out there, for all those guys, hopefully many of those people whose desks and offices I have visited will say, yep, Paul knows exactly what he's talking about. And I remember when he was here. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope that you're having a fantastic week. I hope you're having a productive and creative week. And remember, I am your host, Paul Markel, and I will talk to you again. Oh, but before I go, I want to remind you, my producer said, remind everyone that they can go to Morning Mindset Podcast. Put those three words together. morningmindsetpodcast.com for show notes and to if you want to buy a coffee mug or a motivational poster or a signed copy of the book or what have you, you can always do that. And if for some reason your favorite podcast app or player is not working that day, it's cool. We have a backup. It's morningmindsetpodcast.com. All right. I'm Paul Markel. I'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you for spending time with us today. To get show notes, submit a topic request, and for more from your host, Paul G. Markel, visit morningmindsetpodcast.com. That's morningmindsetpodcast.com. Please leave a review for this podcast on your favorite podcast player. We appreciate your time and effort, and we look forward to reading your honest feedback.